Campi Flegrei, the restless supervolcano beneath 500,000 Italians, is now shaking almost every day. AI has detected over 54,000 earthquakes here, with more than 1,000 hitting each month since late 2024. Scientists warn this sudden spike could mean magma is on the move. But if disaster signs are everywhere, how close are we to an eruption no one can fully predict? Artificial intelligence has transformed how scientists track Campi Flegrei's restlessness. By scanning raw seismic records from January 2022 through March 2025, an AI-driven catalog compiled by the INGV revealed more than 54,000 earthquakes, nearly 5 times the total previously reported using traditional methods. This surge is not just a matter of better detection. The raw numbers show a real acceleration. By late 2024, the monthly count crossed 1,000 events, a threshold never reached in earlier years. In August 2024 alone, over 1,200 quakes rattled the caldera, with daily averages that outpace even the notorious Bradyseism episodes of the 1980s. Most of these earthquakes are too small to be felt, but their sheer frequency paints a picture of a system under growing stress. The AI catalog, available at ingv.it, logs each event with precise time, magnitude, and location, allowing researchers to spot patterns and clusters that once went unnoticed. According to Dr. Elisabetta Doria, seismologist at INGV, we are now observing nearly continuous microseismicity. The caldera is telling us in numbers how much it is changing beneath the surface. This flood of data sets the stage for deeper analysis, where these quakes are happening, how deep they reach, and what their geometry reveals about the forces at work inside Campi Flegrei. Most of the recent earthquakes at Campi Flegrei are not scattered at random. Instead, they cluster in a narrow band between 2 and 5 kilometers below the surface. This depth range is not just a number, it's a window into the structure beneath the caldera. Seismic catalogs from INGV, now enhanced by AI, map out thousands of events concentrated beneath the central and eastern sectors, especially under Pozzuoli, and the Solfatara Pisciarelli area. When these locations are plotted, a pattern stands out. The swarms tend to align along a ring-shaped fault system that circles the zone of greatest ground movement. Researchers have traced this ring fault, or anello di foglia, as it loops beneath the caldera, converging directly under Pozzuoli. The geometry is more than a curiosity. Faults like these act as stress pathways, guiding the release of pressure from below and controlling where earthquakes occur. The depth clustering suggests that the most active part of the system sits in the upper crust, where brittle rock can fracture under strain. This is where fluid and gas rising from deeper reservoirs meet resistance and trigger swarms of tiny quakes. The ring fault concept helps explain why certain neighborhoods experience repeated shaking while others remain quiet. It also provides a framework for understanding how stress is organized and released within the caldera. By mapping these patterns, scientists gain crucial insight into the hidden architecture of Campi Flegrei, a network of faults and fractures that shapes the ongoing unrest. The ground beneath Pozzuoli has been steadily rising for nearly 2 decades. Since 2005, GPS stations and satellite radar, INSAR, have tracked an average uplift of about 10 centimeters each year, with the total now exceeding 1.4 meters. These measurements come from a dense network of geodetic instruments, their data processed and published by INGV and the Copernicus Sentinel-1 program. Time-lapse sequences show the central caldera lifting in pulses, not in a smooth line. Some months bring sharp jumps. In February 2025, a single episode added a full centimeter in less than 2 weeks. These uplift pulses often coincide with bursts of seismic activity, suggesting a tight coupling between what happens deep below and the movement at the surface. The pattern is not random. Most of the vertical displacement centers on the area southeast of Rionatera Pozzuoli, where the highest rates are consistently recorded. INSAR interferograms, processed using SNAP and ISCE software, confirm this broad, bowl-shaped uplift, with the strongest deformation ringed by active faults. Both GPS and satellite data agree on the acceleration. Since late 2023, monthly uplift rates have reached 30 millimeters, a pace not seen since the Brady Schism of the early 1980s. According to Giovanni Macedonio, geodesist at IMMINENT, we are witnessing a persistent, measurable inflation of the caldera floor. The rates we see today are among the fastest ever recorded here. This quantitative record of ground movement provides a crucial baseline for understanding the forces at work beneath Campi Flegrei, setting the stage for debate over what is driving the ongoing unrest. Scientists remain divided over what drives the inflation at Campi Flegrei. Two main theories compete. One points to a deep, partially molten zone nearly 8 kilometers below the caldera, mapped by magnetotelluric and seismic imaging. This reservoir acts as a persistent source of heat and gas. The other theory focuses on the hydrothermal system, layers of water, steam, and gas-rich fluids trapped between 2 and 4 kilometers deep. Pressure in these layers can build quickly, causing the ground above to rise in sudden bursts. Recent surveys reveal a complex picture, a deep conductive anomaly at 8 kilometers, interpreted as a partially molten magma body, overlain by highly conductive gas-charged reservoirs closer to the surface. But these signals could also come from hot, salty brine, not just magma. Chemical studies show rising carbon dioxide and helium, along with high-temperature fumaroles, hinting at deep input, but not confirming new magma movement. Deformation models show the source of uplift has migrated upward over the past 40 years, from 8 kilometers in the 1980s to around 4 kilometers today. This shift could mean shallow magma injection or, just as likely, pressurization of the hydrothermal system. Dr. Mauro Di Vito of INGV explains, the evidence is consistent with a deep stationary magma body feeding a volatile-rich hydrothermal system. Most of the current unrest can be explained without invoking new magma ascent. A key point often lost in headlines. Supervolcano is a headline, not a forecast. INGV considers large eruptions extremely unlikely in the short term. Seismic resonance remains stable, suggesting the rock above the magma chamber is still intact. In the autumn of 1538, the landscape west of Naples changed forever. Over just 1 week, a series of earthquakes shook the ground, splitting roads and opening new cracks across the countryside. By the end of those days, a new volcanic cone, Monte Nuovo, had risen from farmland, burying villages and forcing families to flee. Chronicles from the time describe ash falling like snow and the coastline shifting as the land heaved upward by nearly 3 meters. That eruption, the last in Western Europe to form a new mountain, serves as a stark reminder of what Campi Flegrei is capable of. Centuries later, the echoes of that upheaval would return. In the early 1980s, Pozzuoli became the epicenter of another crisis. The Earth rose by 3 meters in less than 2 years, and more than 16,000 earthquakes rattled the city. Walls cracked, schools closed, and 40,000 people were forced to evacuate. One Pozzuoli resident recalls, "It was as if the whole city bounced every few minutes. We slept in cars and tents, waiting for the shaking to stop." These memories linger, shaping how locals watch for signs today. The ground remembers, and so do the people who call Campi Flegrei home. Every day, a network of sensors, satellites, and analysts keeps watch over Campi Flegrei. The Italian civil protection agency, Protezione Civile, uses a color-coded alert system to guide both authorities and residents. Right now, the status is yellow, meaning increased monitoring, not emergency. More than 500,000 people live inside the high-risk zone, so clear communication is essential. Residents are urged to stay informed through official channels, review emergency plans, and know where to find updates. Protezionecivile.gov.it and ingv.it provide real-time bulletins. Seismometers, GPS, and satellite radar work together to track every tremor and centimeter of ground movement, feeding data directly to INGV and Protezione Civile headquarters. If activity crosses certain thresholds, like a sharp spike in strong earthquakes or rapid ground uplift, the alert can move to orange. That triggers readiness steps, assembling essentials, checking evacuation routes, and following municipal instructions. Protezione civile officials stress, stay alert, not alarmed. Preparedness is the best defense. Since late 2024, seismic monitors have recorded more than 1,000 earthquakes per month beneath Campi Flegrei, with events concentrated between 2 and 5 kilometers deep. Ground uplift has reached 10 centimeters per year, totaling over 1.4 meters since this phase began. These numbers mirror patterns seen before the last eruption in 1538 and the Brady Schism crisis of the early 1980s, when 40,000 Pozzuoli residents were evacuated. Yet, despite these clear signals, scientists remain divided on the cause, whether deep magma is rising or hydrothermal fluids are driving the changes. The alert level stands at yellow, with over 500,000 people living inside the red zone. Protezione Civile continues close monitoring and public readiness drills. While the ultimate trigger for eruption remains uncertain, the increase in seismic and ground activity is clear. As history shows, vigilance and preparation remain essential for everyone living within reach of Campi Flegrei.